Hey, everybody, welcome on in. Dave Owens, and we are continuing our conversations about becoming a Fort Washington city. So I want to welcome you to that conversation. Boy, in the last couple of weeks and months, we've had great conversations with HOAs and civic associations via Zoom and also face to face. So we've had a lot of good sessions coming up on the holiday period now. So what we thought we would do is record some and push them out via social media so you can listen to them when you had the time. And we're going to do it in four parts. Part one, we're going to talk about the fiscal restraints of county government and how strong city governments can help solve some of the problems that come along with that. Part two, we're going to demystify taxes. That's always an exciting one, right? Got to demystify taxes. Part three, we're going to continue that discussion about taxes, but we're going to specify it to Fort Washington and what a Fort Washington city will look like or could look like and what that means for your taxes. And then part four, an economic development proposal. And so let's get started here tonight with part one. We'll kind of get jump right into it. How strong cities provide solutions for county government systems with fiscal limitations. When I drive around Fort Washington and I see high grass, I see people standing at bus stops and it's overgrown grass around the bus stop to the point where you can't see the sign. And they have to stand out in the middle of the road, or you see litter that takes months and months to get picked up. When I see those things in Fort Washington and everywhere, but specifically in Fort Washington, it doesn't just bother me. I get angry. I have a visceral reaction to it, and it's not good. Um, I really get angry. I am a believer that the way to solve that problem is through strong city government. I do not believe that county governments can do that for communities. One of the things we talk about when we're discussing becoming a city government, one of the things I put out to people was, let's think about the things that maximize a community's value. I mean, what are those variables? I mean, you can come up with a lot of them. Here's some that I threw out. I think it's got to be safe. It's got to look good. I think the people have to be socially connected. I think they have to be together. Uh, and I think it's got to have an economic plan, big or small, a thought process on how economy, commerce can be in the area, and it can be a value add to the people so that the services are not built off of or paid for on the backs of a citizen's property tax. So I think all of those things have to come together. And when they do, I think that you have a pride and empowerment factor that is powerful. And I think city government is the entity that makes that go. I do not believe county government can provide that for individual cities. And you could argue it's not their job to do it. But let's talk about some specifics. Why I believe county government, really can't do this. So in this particular case, I think there's significant fiscal constraints. We know this. It's been well documented, but budget deficits are something that we face a lot. And when you have those fiscal restraints, you've got inconsistent services. And when you have inconsistent services, I think sometimes what leadership ends up doing, whether they know it or not, whether it's conscious or not, and sometimes it can be subconscious, is they end up making short-term solutions that don't benefit people in the long term. I think our economic development plan in the county is limiting. I think Plan 2035 focuses on priority zones. Regional transit districts are those priority zones. In layman's terms, we're talking about metro centers. But if you live outside of one of those metro center areas, you are not a priority, and you can find yourself in an island of what I would call underdevelopment, without a plan, without some specificity to start to drive economy and daytime workforce density to your area, which then equals balanced retail. And I think you see that a lot, especially in Southern Maryland. So numbers don't always tell you the story, but I think some do. And I think this one does. Property tax revenue per capita is an assessment of all the property taxes that you bring in, commercial and residential, and then you just divide it by the amount of people that you have in your county. And there's nuance here, but in layman's terms, this is what this number is showing us. The higher the number is next to your county, the more money you have in your coffers, in your general fund, to pay for services for your citizens. And when you consider the fact that Prince George's County is larger than every one of those counties that's above them in the rankings, except for Montgomery, and yet we bring in a lower amount of property tax revenue and a lower amount of property tax revenue per capita. The stark reality is that Prince George's County does not bring in enough revenue to provide services for a county this size. And that's just fact. That is stark. I think for some people that might be somewhat surprising, but I think it's good to say that and then let that sit in the air so that people kind of know and understand just what that means. Prince George's County is a massive place, 1 million people. I think it's almost 500 square miles of land. Okay. The numbers that we see here, property tax revenue per capita, is unsustainable. Okay. And we need to look at ways to solve that problem. Okay. There's reasons for the revenue problem: property tax cap, limited commercial tax base. We could go on and on about why those things are there. That might be a separate recording, but it leads to perpetually low revenues. We need to change that. So why become a city, and how does that change? And how does that solve the problem? When you become a city, because right now what we are essentially doing is paying money into a system that is strapped for money, strapped for dollars, and those dollars are being spread out in a lot of places to fill gaps. And hence your return on investment is extremely low, lower than you want it to be, lower than you need it to be. When you become a city, you are exposed to an additional city tax. That is true. That is real, and that is honest. Okay. What happens with that city tax, however, is that additional city tax goes to your city, in this case, Fort Washington, okay, to provide the services that the citizens and the city council would want. Okay. That is not happening now. Your money is going elsewhere, and that needs to change. Your county taxes also get reduced as well. We're going to talk about that in parts 2 and parts 3. So definitely stick around and check those out, because that's an important piece to this puzzle. You need to see it. I need to walk you through it. And we need to continue to demystify that. You have dedicated city leadership. I think one of the challenges that you have in a county the size of Prince George's is that it is difficult to have community leadership, city leadership in a place this size. 8 or 9 county council members can't do it and shouldn't be asked to do it. You also have strategic economic vision planning with the city, and it helps address county challenges, all the ones that we talked about before. Counties and cities should be working together. It should not be adversarial. And especially when you have a limited budget, you should be working together. They should be working together. This is a way to do that, and we should do it. The other reason Fort Washington should become a city is because we're ready to do it. Okay. We've got the population, we've got the size to make an impactful difference with our tax dollars. The 20744 zip code is perfect for it, and we should do it. We've got great city engagement and leadership here already, and I think that we can leverage that to make a Fort Washington city something that I think works pretty well. There's other cities that have done it. We know of Bowie, Greenbelt, Laurel, all that, Edmonston, College Park, Berwyn Heights. You can go on and on, Forest Heights. They've done it, and they've done a solid job of doing it. And if they can do it, we can too. I mean, it's that simple. There's nothing special in the water in those places. We can do it here. Okay. And so that sort of is the introductory to why becoming a city. What are some of the fiscal challenges that the county has, and how strong city government can actually help. Coming up in part two, we're going to break down taxes. Taxes is something that people discuss a lot. They got a lot of different opinions on it. It's understandable. I totally get it, especially in times like now. But I'd also argue there are many different ways to look at taxes, and we should do that. Not paying more and seeing that money go away everywhere else is not good either. And so I think that we should be honest, transparent, and practical when it comes to what we're doing. So that's coming up in part two. Part three, again, we'll get into what a Fort Washington City looks like and the tax proposal there. And we talked about part four, the economic development proposal. So that's the start. Hope you enjoyed this one tonight. You see my email there in the previous slide. If you want to get in touch, please do. And we can continue to talk about that. If you want to be part of our committee, please do. And we're going to continue on with our process. So we'll see you in part two.